Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President, Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Standup. So without any further ado, let's get started. I wanted to finish part 2 of this episode with advice from Jeff Bezos. Now, I know what you're thinking, and many of you are looking at me like, this is crazy, and I haven't always agreed with his advice, but I thought I'd finish out the article and let you know where my thoughts were in accordance to the advice from Jeff, yes? So the next piece of advice he gives is make key decisions before the afternoon. I agree. It was Mark Twain who said, eat the living frog first. I believe that's who said it, right? What he's trying to say is that it's important for us to make our key critical decisions as early as we can in the day. And if we do that, we're going to be better at what we do, because then the rest of the day we can hone in and focus on the things that we need to do. So the early bird is the one who makes important decisions, according to Jeff. When Jeff came to visit, he was here for 3 days and he shared information I really liked. So he was visiting with Bruno Cucinelli. I'm guessing that's going to be in Italy. He's a fashion designer. It says here that he said, normally I make important decisions around 10:30 a.m. and I'll discuss it the day before, sleep on it, and in the morning I'll make the actual decision. I think that helps you just put yourself in a position where in your fresh frame of mind, you had a chance to sleep on it. It helps you make better choices, right? Okay. He then brings up that there are four key attributes of a dreamy business. You should know those and live those. And he says a dreamy business has 4 characteristics. Customers love it. It can grow to a very large size. It has strong return on capital, and it's durable in time, with the potential to endure for decades, right? So when you find one of these, don't just swipe right, get married. I love it. He says Amazon hasn't been monogamous in this regard. After 2 decades of risk-taking and teamwork, with generous helpings of good fortune along the way, we're now happily wed to what I believe is the perfect life partner combination, including Marketplace, Prime, and Amazon Web Services. And I couldn't agree more. I think that those are the 3 trademark Amazon products. And Amazon has been working really hard to implement Agile in their organization. And I feel like the places where they are really thriving in Agile are the places that were mentioned: Marketplace, Prime, and Amazon Web Services, AWS. And I think that the more they embrace business agility and the further away they get from locking things in for a 10-year plan, the better that they do, right? The next topic he brings up is creating more than you can consume. If you want to be successful in business or in life, you have to create more than you consume. Yes, yes, yes. Your goal should be to create value for everyone you interact with. Any business that's not creating value for those it touches, even if it appears successful on the surface, isn't long for this world. It's on its way out. And I agree with what he's saying. You need to make sure no matter what you're doing, that you're always trying to look for a way to give back, to create more than you consume. And that way you can honestly say that you're leaving a lasting mark on the world. Next, he talks about maintaining individuality. It says here, we're all taught to be yourself. What I'm really asking you to do is embrace and be realistic about how much energy it takes to maintain your distinctiveness. Interesting. He said, the world wants you to be typical. In 1,000 years, it pulls at you. Don't let it happen, right? Or in 1,000 ways, it pulls at you. Sorry, don't let it happen. So 1,000 years, that would be a long time. No, but the world wants you to be typical, and it's constantly going to try to bring you down and put you in the typical category. I think that sometimes the more individual and different we are, the better off we are, because then that's what separates us. And that's what people appreciate about what we do and who we are, right? Couple more left. Next one talks about do more than just discuss financial results and projected outputs. Senior leaders that are new to Amazon are often surprised by how little time they spend discussing actual financial results or debating projected financial outputs. To be clear, we take these financial outputs seriously, but we believe that focusing our energy on controllable inputs to the business is the most effective way to maximize financial gains over time. Couldn't be more true. I think that, lots of companies will just sit and discuss financial results, okay, blah, blah, blah. And what they'll do is, they'll stop getting that ability to be able to forecast. And I think one of the strengths of Amazon is their ability to forecast, especially short term, with quite effective diligence, right? Okay, last but not least, make sure you consider and look long term instead of striving for instant gratification. Now, this one's interesting because, you know, the importance of thinking long term is so healthy, and it's something that Jeff promotes over and over again. But long term thinkers lever our existing abilities and let us do new things we couldn't otherwise contemplate. It supports the failure of an iteration required for invention, and it frees us to pioneer with unexplored spaces. Seek instant gratification or the elusive promise of it, and chances are you'll find a crowd that's way ahead of you. I agree with that. I think sometimes the instant gratification works short term and it might give you a little bit of a boost, but sometimes you're robbing Peter to pay Paul and you're making decisions that create debt. So I think the advice that I give here is don't make decisions that create debt. Try to find ways to integrate those smart decisions into daily decisions and find a way to seek the instant gratification to get to where you need to be, but also plan ahead so you can make sure you're aware of the things that are going on around you, which makes total sense, right? We want to make sure we're not just planning for today or tomorrow, but that we're at least planning a couple of weeks out or a couple of sprints out. So that way we can make sure we are covered across all those different areas. So, Jeff, I think overall, these are great pieces of advice. And I love where it took you on your Amazon journey. And I hope that many of the students here or many of the people here who listen to this podcast will be able to thrive on the advice that you're providing. So that's going to do it. I hope you have an amazing week. As always, we invite you to tune into the AgileDad podcast, Daily Standup, where you can learn more about this topic and others. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.